All right, it's time for another video. So thank you first and foremost for everybody for all your support. It's been super awesome and overwhelming at times, but really appreciate it. And a lot of people send me messages who have, both given me some advice, but also reaching out because they think that they might be kind of in a similar situation with the binge eating. And it's kind of why I'm doing this here in the public forum. I could be sitting at home doing this, but I really wanted to bring awareness to this, and some people have really reacted. So I'm going to do my best to keep up with everybody, but continue to send those messages because it's good to be able to share with each other. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through my plan. I've got some slides here set up so that you have an idea of what exactly this is and what it's all about and how it's going to work. So we'll start off with phase one. Okay, so phase one is hardwired to self-destruct. Now, I named it that because clearly somebody who's been having issues with coping and using something to make up for those feelings is hardwired to self-destruct. When it comes to any alcoholism, drug addiction, eating disorders, these are all symptoms of something much deeper that needs to be addressed. And so a lot of those emotions and things I've addressed, and a lot of this is leftover stuff that I've been dealing with, not just feelings-wise, but also weight management-wise and eating. So as you see here in phase one, we're doing this for 4 weeks. That kicked off on Monday, so we're in day 4 of that. And the reason why I decided to do it for 4 weeks is because it's just a good amount of time to get comfortable again, keeping track of what I'm eating and how much. But more importantly, how hungry I am. And how hungry I am before I eat, while I eat, and after I eat. Those are really important factors in this. And again, I appreciate everybody who sent me messages about, there's kind of specific diets that they have had success on. All of that is great, but right now, the kind of food I'm eating is really not nearly as important as the amount of food I'm eating, okay? The amount of food is what's important right now. So that's what we're doing here, duration 4 weeks. The goal through this is to control the portions amount of food that I'm eating, address the relationship with food. So what's going to happen here is every now and then when I'm not eating when I normally might be eating in a situation, I might be feeling anxious, or there might be some sort of situation where I need to really concentrate on those feelings. And as we go through this in the next couple weeks, I'll probably add some things to this slide of goals, but one of them is a little bit of meditation, and really you need to reflect inside. You really got to think about things, and that's one of the reasons this has gotten out of hand for me, is because I haven't been doing that. So addressing that food relationship is super important. And again, highlighting eat only when hungry. I know there's a lot of, diets and things like that that want you to eat 5-10 times a day. I get it, but when you get down to it, you're supposed to react to your body, and eating when you're hungry is the only way to go. So that's phase one. 4 weeks. We get in here to phase two, ride the lightning. And I named this because while I'm doing this here in phase one too, we're starting something here at work called Sugar Smash. So it's a wellness program, and a lot of people probably going through this as they're taking that high-end sugar stuff out of their diet, like soda pop and cake, fruit, those kind of things, cupcakes. I mean, you can name it. There's a lot of stuff that's got that high-end fruit in it. But Ride the Lightning is kind of what that's focusing on, while at the same time doing the phase one. So this is going to be 6 weeks long, and I picked that because you don't want to take it all out at once, because what happens is your body starts to react, and you can really lose touch with what's going on. So I don't know if I've been through the kind of the reducing the sugar stuff before, but it should be interesting. So 6 weeks, continue phase one. So watching the portion control, thinking about my hunger, and important to concentrate on the relationship with food there. and then slowly reduce the sugar and carbohydrates. So, but more on the sugar end as we get closer. You know, the carbohydrates thing is an important thing, because what happens when you have those high carbohydrate foods, like potatoes and things like that, that gets turned into glucose and it stores right to fat when you have too much of it. So we'll be doing that, and then we'll introduce some mild to moderate exercise. So real mild, we're talking walking and not far, because I'm in a kind of shape that I want to be gentle right now, because I don't want to injure myself. I don't want to exert myself too much, because that'll just delay things and make it more difficult for me. So phase 2, so we're in 10 weeks at that point. Phase 3, kill them all. Now, some of these might change and the duration might change a little bit too, but this is going to be 12 to 16 weeks. It's a big clip here, and that's important, because a lot of the conversations I've had with people who've asked me about the whole binge eating thing, because they don't understand, or they not sure where to go. And even sometimes, to be honest with you, I'm not sure where to go. And so what has worked for me before, what kind of sent me into food rehab, was something called the HCG protocol. And I was lucky enough to meet a wonderful person named Robin, who's written a book called Weight Loss Apocalypse, which I recommend you read, especially if you feel you're having eating disorder issues. It's based off of Dr. Simeon's HCG protocol that came out in the 50s, and it's it's kind of a fab for a while. So I don't want people to panic. I don't want you to focus on that part as much as what the conversation in the book is about food and relationships and dysfunction, because that is the key part right there. So when we get in here to phase 3, I do intend on doing a couple protocols. I haven't gotten that far into thinking of how I'm going to do that, but that's my plan, because to be perfectly honest with you, that is going to help me to really reduce the amount of weight. But more importantly, it's going to really test those feelings about food. And as we get closer to that, I can explain it more. It's a very interesting thing, and I really believe that it's extraordinarily useful, and it worked. I mean, it really worked for me. But on the other hand, the evidence is I gained it all back. Not so much on the HCG, but more on me. So, and then we'll introduce some moderate exercise. That, depending on where we're at, is something I plan on doing, but that might not be necessarily the best idea, especially if we're doing protocols. There we go. So there's phase 3. And then we get to phase 4, duration 20 weeks, and this will take us pretty much up into November. Of course, continuing phase 1 and 2 here, we'll be introducing focus on plant-based diet. So this is something that, I'm not going to go totally vegan. That's just not in the cards, at least as far as I'm feeling right now. I will tell you this, I did go vegan for about 6 weeks last year, and I lost a lot of weight. And at the time, I was actually having a lot of, feelings about how this plays in with my food problems. And it was very interesting. I will tell you this, plant-based diet, you look at some of the people who do it, extraordinarily, really amazing health benefits. My father-in-law is a huge believer in this, and he has, he's amazing. He's done some really, just the kind of things, the reduction in blood pressure and the weight loss and things like that, and he's in it for life with the plant-based diet. So, but having that as a focus on your diet, I think is a really good idea. And so while we're tweaking these things, it's something to really consider. And then we're going to introduce moderate to heavy exercise and weightlifting here. So that's really what I want to kind of get back into, is exercising and feeling good and, doing some of those things. So that's the plan. It should take us through, and there's going to be a lot of tweaks here and there. There'll be a lot of bumps in the road, but it's one of those things that when I'm really trying to do here is set it up for sustainability. So it's not a diet, even though I'm calling it the Metallica Diet. It's kind of a catchphrase that I want to kind of create a viral thing with it. But it's not really a diet. This is a sustainable thing that I want to do to better myself health-wise, but also getting down to the bare necessities of killing that binge eating disorder system that I have in my brain. And it's one of those things, I guess, like alcoholism or any other addiction, it's never, never going to be over. It's an addiction. And I don't want to hear a lot right now about how it's in the food and, God bless you all. I appreciate that. But when you come from this side of it, it's really down to how you've trained yourself. And for 25, 30 years, I was, eating my emotions. So when you do that for so long, it's second nature. It just is. So it's hard to break from that. And that's the whole plan here, is that that's sustainability. Again, it's focus and learning from those mistakes and moving forward. So that's the plan. I'll put up another video probably, sometime early next week, and we'll see how the weekend goes. And I'll be posting stuff. I posted a picture the other day of what I was eating, and it's been good. I haven't had any problems, really, to be perfectly honest with you. But we're just getting into it. So again, 100% appreciate all of you, and keep the messages coming. And we're doing this together. Thanks, everybody. Metallica Diet. Yeah.